How's it going, my silly geese, and welcome back to my channel. Haha. You know what to do. Do it. That's right. I'm threatening you. By the way, this is a prop gun. I don't need this video taken down. So, from my last video, there were a couple comments to point out. One, Raynad commented on my video. So I'm basically famous now. I'm ditching everyone and I'm going solo and I'm living the life of luxury. Also, this guy commented, going by the name of Jefferson Steelflex. Now, I actually really liked his comment, but I did want to address it because I feel like I have a somewhat decent answer to this. So, his comment reads, "You can make an online client for competitive tic-tac-toe, and people will try to reach the highest ranks, but that doesn't mean it makes for an exciting esports game." And yes, I know this isn't perfectly analogous, but I'm trying to envision how in the world the Bazaar could even be an esports game. Or how a tournament could even be possible. There has to be an entirely different game mode that you guys haven't revealed yet, right? So there's a few things to break down, so let's take it piece by piece. Alright, now the second part of his comment is actually really what I want to talk about and is going to be the main part of today's video. He says, or how the bleep a tournament could even be possible. There has to be an entirely different game mode that you guys haven't revealed yet, right? Now, one thing I do want to mention is it has gone on the record. I'm not going to look for the quote. You can fact check me if you want. But Raynad has gone on record saying that he really wants to try his hardest. Didn't say for sure 100%. But he said he wants to try his hardest to make the casual and the pro mode the same thing. He talks about how sometimes in games that try to have an esports scene, but they make it a different game, it can be hard because then there's a disconnect, and it's really hard to get the casual player base into the pro scene, which makes a lot of sense, right? If you're a casual player of a game and you love it and you go, wow, I wonder what this game's like on a professional level, and you go to watch it and then it's a completely different thing, you're not going to be so inclined to stay interested or even want to try it for that matter. So, this pro mode I keep talking about, what is it? How does it work? Well, obviously we don't know yet, right? We don't even have early access to the game. We know mostly of how the game's going to generally work, but we don't know specifics. But he kind of implies here that it's almost impossible to run a tournament with the current build and how it currently works, which I would strongly disagree with. And I'm going to talk about a few examples here that I've thought of personally, and then maybe some altercations you could play to them, the pros and cons of them, and yeah, what would work and what wouldn't. Alright, so as you can see, I have the single most technologically advanced utility on any computer ever, Microsoft Paint, to kind of show what I'm working with. So, when it comes to tournaments for pretty much any esports event, or almost any sporting event for that matter as well, there's two main styles of play. So your first one are going to be bracket play. And that's pretty straightforward. Most of us are going to understand how that works. It's pretty normal. And then there's group play, which may be a little more niche, but I'm sure most of you have still at least heard of it. So, what are these? Bracket play. Obviously, as everyone knows, right, you have the little bracket, and then you basically play, and the winner moves on, and the loser doesn't. So, let's say this person wins against this person, they go here. This person wins against this person, they go here. And then, let's say this person wins, boom, they are the champion. Yay, they win. Right, congratulations. That's how bracket play works, if you needed a quick explanation. Group play, however, like I said, it's a little different. Usually, you're going to have groups of players. So let's say we have 4 people in each group. All right. So this is a very simplified example. Most of the time, it's a lot bigger. A lot of brackets are double elim, but those are specifics that aren't really necessary for the point that I'm trying to make. So group play, right? We got 4 players in each group, and then one person is the winner in each group. Whoever does the best. Now they can then come together for one big group. And then whoever wins this group is the winner overall. Now, like I said, most systems use a combination. So they would take these winners that we see here, and then they would throw those 4 winners into bracket style and then pick a winner from there. Because bracket is usually better with less number of players because it's much easier to decide winners and outcomes. Whereas group play is really good for large amounts of players because like this, right? There's 16 players in total, and in one fell swoop, you knocked out 12 of them in just one little section. So it helps eliminate play sizes while still keeping it fair because you're not competing with everyone simultaneously, and then it just becomes an RNG just fiesta. So how would this work in terms of Bazaar? Well, there's a couple of different options. All right, so your option 1 is going to be averaging your wins. And option 2 is going to be a point system. Now, obviously, these are not the only two choices. You can still do a lot of other things besides these two, but these are the two that in my head make the most sense for doing some form of tournament, some form of competitive play, right? Something along those lines. For the averaging wins side of things, it's pretty straightforward. So the max wins you can get in a run is 8, correct? Now, let's say in this bracket play, you're up against Billy Bob, okay? And you get a 7-win run, an 8-win run, a 6-win run, and then a 3-win run, right? And then Billy Bob over here gets an 8-win run, a 4-win run, a 5-win run, and a 1-win run. Now, I would hope most of you know what averaging is. If not, averaging is just taking whatever the median amount is. So the easy way to do that is to take all 4 of these and combine them, which is going to give you a total of 24. Then you're going to divide that by how many there were. So we're dividing 24 by 4, therefore you got an average of 6 wins per run. Billy Bob over here, we're going to add everything up. It's going to give us 18. And then if you divide that by 4, you're going to get 4.5. So that's about how many wins he got on average with these 4 runs. With this system, it's very easy to decide who won. You won. You got 1.5 more wins on average. It's a very simple system. It's very easy to follow, very easy to understand. Those are the big pros of it. The main con is really going to come from the fact that it's quite easy to tie with this system. Even then, you can have a tiebreaker, though. You could always just have people run it where it's like, hey, here's your tiebreaker. You both get 1 run. Let's see what happens. Or you can do 2 more runs, 3 more runs, etc., right? There's plenty of ways to do a tiebreaker. But this is the easiest way, more than likely, to do it. Now, the other option, which is, I would say, a little more convoluted, but it would probably offer for a more fair and better system, is you give a certain number of points for how many wins you get on that run. So instead of just averaging out your wins, let's say if you get a 1, 2, or 3 win run, you'll get 2 points. And then for 4, 5, and 6, you'll get 3 points. And then for a 7 or 8 win run, you'll get 4 points, right? This is not a good representation, right? The numbers would obviously be changed. But this is just a basic idea, right? So this system much more heavily rewards getting these high numbers rather than just averaging, where every single win is equivalent. Now again, just like previously, all you would do is add your numbers up, right? So let's say you did 2 runs with this point system, just because that's easier for me. And you got 4 wins on the first one. So you get 2, 4, 6, plus 3, you got 9 points on your first game. And let's say your next game, you got a 7-win run, right? It was huge. So you get 2, 4, 6, 9, 12, 15, 19. So you get 19 points on your second one. So with your 2 runs, you ended up getting a total of 28 points. Right, and then you just compare that to the next person. Well, how many runs? You know, they do the same amount of runs. You add their points up. Whoever has the most points at the end wins. Personally, I prefer the point system, although it is a little more convoluted. So for viewers, average wins would probably be a lot easier to follow. But these are just 2 very easy ways that you could calculate a winner in a 1v1 situation. And if you did a group play scenario instead of bracket play, you just still do the same thing. You have everyone average their wins, or you have everyone total their points from whatever point system you're using. And then after that, you see who was the best. And so many people get cut off, and you move on to the next round, or whatever the case may be. Now, the last point I want to make is basically talking about how you function these tournaments in a sense of that there's no real turn timers in the Bazaar. So, when it comes to these wins, right, usually in games like Hearthstone, for example, you have a turn timer. So it forces the players to be finished in a certain amount of time so that you're not just sitting there for hours on end. In the Bazaar, you don't have that. You get as much time as you want in order to make a decision. Now, that being said, there are still 2 pretty simple solutions for that. One is going to be putting a timer on each individual run. So, let's say the average run time for a Bazaar game is about 20 minutes. Well, you could give them about 25 minutes and say, hey, complete this 1 run within that time. You're still not forcing a turn timer onto them, so when it comes to the casual audience watching the game, it doesn't look any different at all, and the person can make as long of a decision as they want on the hard ones that they need. So when it comes to the easy choices, right, your early rounds, you're going fast, you're clicking stuff, you're saving time and kind of banking it for later when you really have to sit there and think about what the best choice is. Then it's as simple as soon as that timer runs out, sorry, your run-in's there. Let's say you had 5 wins, but you were about to get your 6th one. Hey, if the timer runs out, should have made decisions faster, right? So you're getting 5 wins for that run. Now, the other solution I see that I kind of like better personally, that's giving them, let's say, 3 runs, and they have to do all 3 of those runs within a 1-hour block of time. I think this is the better way to do it for the main reasoning of, let's say you have a really cruddy game. You get 3 wins, and then you go out. You lose all of your lives. Well, you now have lots of time to really sit there and make good decisions for those next 2. Whereas with the other system, if you get knocked out early, you're just waiting for your opponent to finish their run. And not only that, but now on the next run, you still might have not enough time. So I think this system really solves the problem of, 1, having those short runs that just really suck and end too quickly, and also still keeping that timer where you have to finish within a threshold. So in conclusion, yeah, there are definitely ways to run the tournament. These are just a few of them. If you think of any others, please drop them in the comments. I would love to read them. I always love reading about different esports and stuff. I'm a bit of a bracket nerd, so anytime there's a bracket for something, I like watching it and making my guesses and things of that nature. So it's something I always enjoy doing and I always enjoy paying attention to. But anyway, if you've made it this far, thank you. I really appreciate you watching it all the way through. That's it. If you could, hit the sub button. It does a lot. It really helps the algorithm, helps me as a channel grow. And besides that, I will see you on the next one. Peace out.